Matt, it's a heartbreak at the death after a good performance here at Ebbsfleet. What did you make of the game today?
Unfortunately, it's not a good performance because we throw away a two goal lead, which is ridiculous. I mean, I thought we soaked up any pressure they had. They didn't really have any pressure. But you ask the players on the pitch to undertake their roles and responsibilities, and I think today when you look at the manner in which we concede the first goal, it's inexcusable in terms of the error. And what we can't do is we can't give teams momentum. So up to that point, I think it was 86 minutes, 87 minutes, to that point, there's no threat on our goal whatsoever from the opposition. But in making the error that we did, it gives the opportunity for the opposition to gain momentum and think that they've got a chance in the game, when well and truly they should be out of sight. But I will say this, there's a pattern emerging that I don't like. That pattern is quite clear to see. We're in winning positions in games, and whether or not the players are not mentally strong enough to see out games, I don't know. It'll be a conversation that we have with them during the week, because you can't play as well as we did for 86, 87 minutes and draw a game 2-2 away from home. That should be a 2-0 game and a 2-0 win to us. So, look, it's quite, as you can imagine, quite raw at the moment. The players need to understand that that's not acceptable, to be winning and to be in such a comfortable position, to then go and make a horrendous error and end up drawing a game. But we have to understand, and there has to be some context. And the context is that Craig Eastman has damaged his knee again, and this is an issue. Mason Barrett's knee buckled underneath him, and Christian Scott has got booked, and we can't take the risk. So before the second half, I've had to make 3 substitutions, and I thought the players dealt with that well. But at the moment, as I sit here talking to you, it's very difficult for me to praise the team, other than the front two both got goals again. Callum Cisse asked to play in various positions, and he did really well. He worked extremely hard. But you know, I've got a group of players, quite rightly so, that are angry and upset with their performance today, because their performance level for the whole was good, but it's not enough in the National League, and they need to wake up fast and understand that.
You mentioned the first half there. We were in quite a strong position, finding good spots in wide areas, and then the 2 injuries came, and it sort of felt like we lost momentum in that half, do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, both are freak injuries. I'm slightly more concerned about Mason because his knee actually gave way underneath him. We'll get them both, I imagine, scanned at some point next week, but it now looks as if we might be without Mason and we might be without Craig. Look, we've had this season without Craig. He started the game today, and we were looking to get him some valuable minutes and try and push him to 90 after 75 on Wednesday. But for some reason that hasn't happened. And I think it just leaves a really sour taste in your mouth when 2 goals, even 1 goal, should be enough when there's only 7 or 8 minutes left to defend. Should be enough to get us the vital 3 points. And I look at it now, Will, and this is where I think the players need to understand, and I'm sure they do. But if you add up the points from the goals that we've conceded, and you add those points on, if we would have been more ruthless at defending our goal, we'd probably be halfway up the league. So we should have 14 points as I sit here now, even after today, discounting all the other games. We're sat here with 12 points. So yeah, it's obviously, as you can understand, quite raw at the moment.
We spoke for weeks about how we needed those strikers to come in. Alex Reed's come in. It's 5 goals now already. Sam Ashford in the goals. It almost feels like we've solved a problem, and then that's the issue with the late goals.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. The reason we wanted to bring Reedy in is because he scores goals. You see that today. You know, he's in front of the goal. He's a fox in the box, and he also works extremely hard. Sam, you know, was on the move again. Ironically, scores a similar goal to that, and which he got on Wednesday. You know, so those two, if I look at those, have they done their job today? Yeah, they have. But as a collective, we have to understand and smell it and really feel it, that we got to do anything to win a game of football. Now, of course, look, as a group of staff, and I'll always look at myself first, you know, and I'll go home when I'm in the car tonight and I'll be thinking, right, what more could I have done? But I want my group of players to feel that. I want them to feel pain. They're feeling pain at the moment. They're suffering, right? There's no problem with that. There's no issue with that. But we need to be better at seeing out games, because it's quite evident to see that I need to change something in terms of their mentality, because that will sting today. That will really hurt. We haven't lost the game of football. It's the manner in which we've drawn, which is what is upsetting me, and quite rightly upsetting the players.
Looking forward now to next week, massive FA Cup game. It's a chance to really almost shock the world in a way, coming off the back of today.
Yeah, I just wish, I said to the players in there, I mean, we've had some choice words in there, and I said to the players that we should be going into Grimsby bouncing, and we're not. And why aren't we? And I think it's evident to see the reason we're not. But the players have to understand, and they will do, because they're really good people, right? Nobody goes out on the football pitch to make a mistake. We're all human. I made plenty of mistakes as a footballer. But at the moment, the mistakes we're making are catastrophic, and they're killing us. It's really hurting. So Grimsby will be a different test. It will be one where nobody gives a chance, which, you know, is always the way in the FA Cup. But it's a competition that we want to try and do well in. We'll have to assess the squad in terms of whether or not we have any players back. At the moment, Callum's still with Fulham, so we won't have him. It looks as if we won't have two of the lads from today. But what we can't do is use that as an excuse. You know, the injuries aren't the reason we've drawn a game of football today. The substitution of Christian Scott at half-time, because we can't take a risk with him already being booked. And the way Christian plays, he plays on the edge, and I just felt that if we kept him on, he wouldn't be able to be his real aggressive self. So we made that change, and look, we scored 2 goals in the second half, so it was a positive change. But as I say, it's one where I think this one will be painful for a few days. This won't be one where you can just sort of get rid of it. And I speak for myself personally, and I know I speak for the players after the conversation we've had inside. So look, we've got to be better. The players need to understand that whatever it takes, they've got to do that to protect our goal. Because as I say, you know, there was only one team in the game today, and that was us. Like literally, I couldn't tell you, and I mean this was no disrespect, I couldn't tell you what problems we faced other than those that we made errors in the last 7 minutes. And you know, Ebbsfleet haven't had to work hard to score goals today. We have, and we've scored 2 really good goals. But that's 2, regardless of whether they're first phase or second phase set plays that we've conceded from. However, I will say, the first goal, it's never a free kick. The boy dives, and unfortunately, the referees don't want to talk to you because they have their view, we have our view, and I think that, you know, we've got to try and help the referees at this level, because there's a hell of a lot of experience in every dugout for every team in the league. But you know, as I say, at the moment, I'm not going to make excuses. We should be sat here with a big smile on our face and 3 points.